had a hard time finding a multi because now I'm trying to. It's one thing to have knowledge, but you don't know how true it is until you put it to the test. So okay, I'm looking for a multi. I couldn't find it. I'm getting frustrated. I'm going crazy because I'm like literally all day, like riding around online, like trying to find. Couldn't find it. Long story short, I found the property. Did the research, found one. Only way I could get it, I had to go all in on it. Cause
what's going all in?
All in is when I moved from Texas to Georgia, they could so the banks, if you want to get financed by and it's different types of financing, but typically they want to see your last 2 years tax returns. You got to have your credit score 580 or better. Preferably at least 640, 620, 640 or better. And the better your credit score, the lower your interest rate. You just getting cheaper money. Yeah, your mortgage payment's gonna be lower, all of that. So anyway, my goal was to find a fixer upper. And because it's different loans. You got FHA 203K. These are renovation loans where you buy a abandoned, beat up property. The bank give you the money to fix it up. All you bring is a down payment.
3.5% still?
Yeah, still 3.5%. And it's different, like, they call it like products. Like one loan product or program might say 3.5%, another one might say 3%, so on and so forth. You got hard money. You got multiple ways you could do this.
Multiple ways to get financing.
Creative ways. You creatively, that's a whole nother lane that, Tavares knows way more about in terms of acquiring credit and whatnot than I, he's taught me a lot, So I choose a bank. I ain't gonna say the name of the bank. And I couldn't go 3.5% down because it required me to base it on what I made, my salary and whatnot. But because I moved from Texas to Georgia, it's basically like, yo, you starting over. So we can't count this as proof that you could pay us back. But the only way I could do it, and this is strategy, they use the future rents. It was a 3-unit.
Yeah.
So they gave me a percentage of the future rents towards my income.
I think that's what, 75% on the dollar, right?
Well, different banks had different amounts that they'll credit you up to. So say like one bank might say, we'll give you 90%. So say like
they got something to give you 90%? No, that's game.
So if they charge, so say if you could get like $1,000 a month for a rental, they'll say, okay, we'll count $900 towards your income.
Okay.
So if it's 3, that's $2,700 a month. So I'll bring them the down payment. And mind you, I ain't had like a bunch of debt because, military paid for school.
Hence, he went to DeVry. If you would have went to Harvard, you would have been $150,000 in debt. They'd have looked at you and been like, no. So people who going to school, I don't have nothing against school, but if you're going to school and you're going for something that you want to do and you got some things set up, more power to you. But if you're just going to school for business and you at these Ivy League schools, good luck. It's a way to do everything, though, but good luck.
That's a whole nother. That's some serious game right there. Like, do not go to school and just get to this debt.
You do that is. I feel like that's not the best way to get introduced to that. It's a college degree.
Yeah.
Like what? 18-year-old kid going to school, get out when they 22, 23, and you got $150,000 in debt. Yeah. Just saying, but you do what make you happy. If that's what make you happy, then I say you do it. But if you're looking to be up, you got to be intentional and you got to know what you're getting into.
And on top of that, what most people do, you need a status symbol. So okay, now I got this degree. Now I need a car to match me. So I'm gonna go buy this $20,000, $30,000. Now you wasn't, 40, 50, 60, then you put another 30 on top.
more than 30. Because if you a doctor, you can't drive no Honda.
Yeah.
You gotta have the Benz. If you a lawyer, I mean, you cannot drive no Honda.
Right.
You need the big body. Your career, for some odd reason, dictate how you should be living. Like what? Like,
so you got college debt, and then you got some car debt you put on top of that. You might have some credit card debt already
from school.
Then now you need the house. So you put a house on top of that.
Yeah, 200, 300 on top of that. But before we get too deep in that, but back to the real estate. So you were saying how you was doing you was getting the rental income before you started renting it out to get that house. Like what that process keep going with that one?
So so the way that I was able to qualify, I did a rehab loan where the bank, I found a property, and mind you, I was a realtor too. So when I bought it, I got a check for buying it.
That's a game. That's a gem.
Hell yeah.
So you was your own real estate agent in the deal and paid yourself for finding your house.
Yep. So I got a check for finding it. I'm learning these strategies. I'm putting them into action. And that bank used, even though this building was raggedy and beat up, they used the future rents to help me qualify for it. So long story short, I qualify, I buy it.
What's your down payment? What percent?
Man, let me see.
In rough estimate, we don't got to get too deep. I mean, like
maybe, because I don't remember. Probably maybe like 15, like 15, something like that. So at this point, I had some savings, and I had some lines of credit, some credit cards. I had to pretty much put down in a down payment maybe 80 to 85% of all my money saved up.
Straight into it.
Similar to what happened when I first bought that house. Like I put it was almost like that. And I just left a little bit because I remembered the first time I went down 20 grand. Mm-hmm. I can go if some adversity come, I know I could go 20 grand deep. So I knew like, okay, I'm gonna just have access. I had like 20 grand left in savings and then some credit cards. And that's what I was gonna do this renovation with, on top of like what the bank had qualified me for to like do the rehab. So long story short,
what the purchase price was?
I bought it a little over 2.
Okay.
Bought it a little over 2. And so now it's time to do my first rehab.
Start the repairs.
And mind you, as a realtor, I had clients who I referred a roofer to or a tile guy to, something like that. So, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm familiar with this process.
Contractor before becoming a contractor, basically.
Yeah, familiar with this,
Once again, the middlemen are winning.
100%. So now it's like, okay, I had to find, one of the requirements of this loan was I had to find a general contractor to like take on the project, do the rehab, basically. Because I ain't no contractor. I don't know how to fix nothing up. The bank ain't going to trust me with not having no background and giving me the money to fix this property up.
Right.
So I found a GC. Find the GC, we start the project. And long story short, like, you got to be careful with who you choose as a general contractor, because all GCs are not created equal. Like, it's some GCs that do you right, and then there's some that, they see what type of position that you in, and they give you this fake number. And they give you this fake number of how much it's going to cost, and then they say, oh, this came up. So then that number that you thought was going to work at first, it keep increasing. And so anyway, I start the rehab, and this is how I met, Tavares, like through the process of my rehab. So anyway, I started the rehab. I hit every major problem you could think of. But initially, when I got into it, it's a raggedy building. I can't judge it in this condition. I know it need work.
Look at the ARV.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to the research I did that ARV.
So you purchased it for how much? What was the range? In the twos?
A little over 2.
And then what the ARV was on it?
At the time, now this something else. So for a buy and hold, like I wasn't looking to flip it. So I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the ARV. I was more so paying attention to the cash flow. Okay. Like I was paying attention to the cash flow and being in a position where I could live free.